If I told you to guess what specific industry is quietly pulling in nearly $5 billion this year, you probably wouldn't guess tanning.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, most people would immediately think of software or fast food, right?
Right, exactly. But despite every changing beauty trend and economic shift, the tanning industry is massive. So today's deep dive is all about exactly that.
Because if you are listening to this right now, there is a really high probability that you are, sitting in a corporate office, maybe staring at a spreadsheet.
Yeah, or you're on your daily commute, just thinking very seriously about an exit strategy. You want a concrete way to transition from building someone else's equity to building your own.
Or perhaps you're already a seasoned multi-unit franchise owner and you're hunting for that next strategic addition to your portfolio.
Exactly. Either way, our mission today is to evaluate a highly specific emerging business model in the wellness space. It's a franchise concept called Legally Tan.
But before we get into the nuts and bolts of their unit economics, we really have to talk about this $5 billion playground they are operating in.
I have to admit, my initial thought was that tanning had sort of peaked back in the early 2000s.
Well, what's fascinating here is that it's a very common misconception. You hear tanning and you picture like a dated strip mall concept from 20 years ago.
Yeah, the sticky floors and the neon signs.
Exactly. But the data reveals a completely different reality. We're looking at a multi-billion-dollar, highly resilient, recurring revenue engine.
So the demand didn't go away, it just kind of matured.
Right. Consumers are consistently allocating a huge chunk of their discretionary income towards safe, high-quality skin and wellness solutions. It's not a fad.
But let me push back on that a little bit. If the market is generating $5 billion, there is already a tremendous amount of competition out there.
Oh, absolutely. It is highly competitive.
Right, so you can't just run a commercial space, throw in some fluorescent lights and expect people to hand you money. How is a brand like Legally Tan actually standing out?
They are doing it by completely redefining the consumer experience. They're deliberately moving away from that cliché salon model.
Okay, so what does that actually look like when you walk in?
When you look at their architecture, they position themselves as a high-end luxury environment. We're talking state-of-the-art equipment and highly educated staff.
Okay, let's unpack that. Because looking at their service pillars, it sounds a lot like what boutique fitness did for the traditional gym.
Oh, that is a perfect analogy.
Like 10 years ago, people paid $20 to swipe a key fob and just run on a treadmill in silence. It was a totally commoditized errand.
Right, it was a race to the bottom on price.
Yeah, but then boutique fitness arrived. Suddenly, consumers are eagerly paying $35 for a single spin class because they want that elevated environment.
And legally, Tan is applying that exact margin-boosting psychology to tanning. When you introduce an experiential luxury element, you shift the entire pricing paradigm.
So what are the specific services driving that?
Well, they have three core pillars. They offer healthy organic spray tans, traditional high-end UV tanning, and red light therapy, which incorporates a dry sauna.
I want to pause on that third one, the red light therapy. I totally get how spray tans fit the model, but what's the mechanical advantage of a dry sauna?
It fundamentally changes the demographics of your customer base. Red light therapy utilizes wavelengths that are scientifically shown to aid muscle recovery and circulation.
Oh, wow. So you are not just targeting someone getting ready for a beach vacation.
Exactly. You are bringing in the wellness crowd, the marathon runner looking for muscle recovery on a Tuesday morning.
Which means your retail square footage is generating revenue from totally distinct customer bases. That has to smooth out seasonal dips.
It does. And when you look at the psychology here, these consumers are attaching your business to significant emotional triggers and daily self-care routines.
And when a routine becomes a ritual, that pricing power locks in. If I am getting an organic spray tan for a wedding, I am not looking for a $5 discount coupon.
Right. You want the most reliable expert option available. You want that educated staff to guarantee a flawless result, and that trust builds incredible brand loyalty.
So we have this beautifully designed front of house. The consumer gets a boutique experience, and they are returning weekly. But let's talk about the back of house.
Unit economics, yeah.
Right, because if you are an aspiring franchise listening to this, a great customer experience is only half the battle. Luxury usually means high overhead.
It absolutely can if the model isn't built correctly.
Exactly. Expensive build-outs, top-tier equipment. I need to understand how this doesn't just bleed cash. What do the margins actually look like?
Let's start with the standout profitability metric, Legally, Tan operates with 35% gross profit margins.
Wait, really? 35% in brick-and-mortar retail. I look at a lot of food franchises, and margins like that are almost unheard of.
Yeah, food and beverage will eat you alive with overhead.
Right, so how is a retail footprint achieving a 35% gross margin?
By understanding the difference between a variable cost business and a fixed asset business. In food, you have perishable inventory waste and massive labor rosters.
You literally have food spoiling if it doesn't sell.
Exactly. But in the legally canned model, your core product is the utilization of highly efficient equipment. The UV beds, the spray booths, the saunas.
So the machine is doing the heavy lifting of the actual service delivery.
Correct. Once those fixed assets are installed, the marginal cost to deliver the next service is remarkably low. You run a very lean team.
That fundamentally changes the math. You aren't managing chaos, you're managing asset utilization. But to get those margins, you have to get the doors open first.
Right, you have to look at the initial investment.
So let's break that down. The initial investment ranges from $295,000 to $515,000.
Which is very competitive for a luxury retail build-out.
It really is. And to qualify, they look for a net worth of $300,000 and a liquid cash requirement of $75,000.
Yes. And before we move on, let's make sure that terminology is crystal clear for someone maybe mapping out their corporate exit.
Yeah, what's the functional difference between the $300,000 net worth and the $75,000 liquid cash?
So net worth is just a snapshot of your total financial health. Your home equity, your 401k, minus your liabilities. It's a very common milestone for mid-career professionals.
Right, it's not cash sitting in a briefcase.
Exactly. Liquid cash refers exclusively to unencumbered funds you can access immediately without tax penalties. Cash in the bank, ready to deploy.
So the franchisor only requires $75,000 in liquid cash. When the total project is up to $500,000, that seems highly accessible. How is the rest funded?
Through strategic financing. Because this is an equipment-heavy business, it's highly attractive to lenders. Franchisees typically use SBA loans or equipment financing.
So you don't have to liquidate your entire life savings just to get the doors open.
Exactly. You preserve your operating capital so you aren't dangerously over-leveraged on day one.
Okay, that removes a massive psychological barrier. Now let's talk about the ongoing fees. Legally, Tan has a standard 6% royalty fee.
Which is totally par for the course in franchising.
But then I noticed their advertising fee is a flat $1,000 per month. Most franchises charge a percentage, like 2 or 3% of gross sales.
Right, and this is where it gets really interesting for multi-unit owners.
Yeah, what is the strategic advantage of a flat $1,000 fee instead of a percentage?
Well, a fixed ad fee is highly attractive for high-performing operators. Let's look at the psychology of a percentage-based fee.
Okay.
If you are a relentless operator and you double your revenue, your advertising fee automatically doubles. A percentage fee acts like a success penalty.
Oh, wow. I never thought of it as a success penalty. But if you grind to bring in an extra $100,000, the franchisor just takes a bigger cut for the same national marketing.
Exactly. But with a flat $1,000 fee, your marketing cost is a fixed line item. As your revenue climbs, the marketing cost actually shrinks as a percentage.
Meaning those extra margin dollars are falling straight to the franchisee's bottom line. You are financially rewarded for your own growth.
It also makes multi-unit forecasting incredibly precise. You aren't guessing what your expenses will be if you have a massive month.
Okay, so the margins are aggressive, the entry point is accessible, and the fee structure favors the operator. The next question is, where can I actually build this?
And how early are you to the opportunity, right?
Right, because legally, Tan just started franchising in 2024. They have one established unit and a lean HQ team of 3 employees.
This is the absolute definition of a ground floor opportunity.
But let me play the skeptic. If I am an investor looking to park serious capital, why wouldn't I just buy into a legacy brand with thousands of locations?
It's the most common question aspiring buyers ask. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the answer is territory availability. We call it white space.
Because the massive legacy brands are already totally saturated.
Exactly. Their maps are completely colored in. The prime commercial real estate was locked up by franchisees 2 decades ago.
So if you try to join a legacy brand today, you're forced into secondary markets on the outskirts of town where the demographics might not even support you.
Right. Or you have to wait years to buy an aging location at a massive premium. But with an emerging brand like Legally Tan, You have wide open availability across dozens of states.
From Alabama, Arizona, Colorado, and Texas, all the way to Pennsylvania, New York, and Wyoming.
Yes. You have the unprecedented ability to secure the absolute best retail locations in your specific market before anyone else even knows the brand exists.
You could literally map out a multi-unit empire. You could lock down the premium lifestyle center on the east side and the massive new development on the west side.
And the franchise agreement term is 10 years, and it's renewable. That gives you a massive runway to build equity and establish market dominance in your region.
Before they reach mass saturation, that is a huge advantage. But let's address that lean HQ team of 3 employees. Is that a risk?
How do you view it as someone analyzing corporate exits?
Well, if you are tired of being a cog in a giant corporate machine, joining a franchise with 2,000 units just puts you into a different machine.
You're just an account number following an inflexible rulebook.
Exactly. But joining a brand at this early stage means you are a foundational partner. Your feedback on daily operations actually shapes the trajectory of the system.
That is a profound distinction. In an emerging system, there is a spirit of collaboration. And the strategic upside of being an early adopter is historically massive.
So let's synthesize everything we've unpacked in this deep dive. We are looking at a booming $5 billion market.
A resilient market, despite broader economic shifts.
Right, and Legally Tan is completely abandoning the cliche model for a high-end luxury experience. They're driving diverse demographics with organic spray tans, UV, and red light therapy.
And they back up that elevated experience with 35% gross profit margins.
They have an accessible entry point under $100,000 in liquid cash, a brilliant flat-rate ad fee, and true ground floor territory availability.
It is a really compelling play for aspiring owners looking to scale.